James?
Yeah, I'm still intrigued by this whole engagement that you have with the environmentalism, and you touched upon that earlier today, but we also were introduced to the Amazon people.
Good, I'm glad you got to talk to them.
And one of the things that intrigues me, here you are a functioning filmmaker, and you have all these projects on the go, and yes, maybe it's Avatar 1 or 2 and 3 next, but at the same time you have all of these pressures on you to energize all sorts of causes, because the Amazon people would not have their cause brought to anybody's attention if you weren't there, and the New York Times didn't follow you down. You have an incredible power to put that story on the front page of the New York Times, and then that forced the Brazilian media to cover it too.
I think I was a little reluctant to acknowledge that, because how much power can a movie really have? But clearly, there have been enough people come to us and say, look, you can do some real good right here. And so we've had to be selective, because we can't get involved in every single cause everywhere. Even if I devoted the rest of my life to it, we still couldn't do everything. So the question that I pose when I start working with a group like Amazon Watch or the Indigenous Network, the Indigenous communities and the First Nations communities in Canada with the tar sands, is, all right, what can we really do? What can we accomplish? What are our goals here? What's the good outcome of this? All right, now let's work backwards. What are the media pieces of this puzzle? And what do we have to do to have credibility? Because the first thing I tell them is I can't just start blathering. I have to go. I have to meet people. I have to understand the experience that they're going through. I've got to study the story from all sides, and I have to be at least knowledgeable enough that when I make a passionate plea to raise public awareness, I'm not just kind of running around with my hair on fire. That there's some actual facts involved in it. So that takes some time. So it is a commitment. I think you have to take these commitments seriously, and you have to also make a commitment to follow up, and not just do kind of like a drive-by deal. And so I've made commitments to the people in the Amazon that I'll follow up with that, and to the First Nations people in Alberta, Canada, that I'll follow up with that. And the other causes that I get involved with judiciously, I'll do as much as I can. And at the point that I stop being effective, I'll stop doing it.
I also think that it's the movie that was empowering.
Oh, sure, it's not me. I mean, I couldn't, a year ago I couldn't have stood up and done all that stuff, and nobody would have asked me to. It's really the fact that there was so much resonance with the movie, and that the movie has created this kind of almost global consciousness around this idea that we have to do something about our relationship with nature. The movie doesn't tell you what to do. It just gives you a kind of an emotional response and a sense that you have to do something to the people that are responding to that. Some people aren't, and some people are diametrically opposed to it because politically or from a business perspective they have to be. They kind of don't have a choice because they're, the CEO of a major oil company or something. I'm not going to win that guy, but I might win his daughter or his son, and he's got to go eat Thanksgiving dinner with them. So, these memes, they do percolate, through society in all kinds of ways that are too complex to follow. I'm also not, by the way, delusional that a movie can change the world, but I do believe that if you put a foot in the right direction and then you follow it up with other action that's in parallel, I can't just wait until I make another Avatar movie. There's too many important things that are happening right now. So I plan to do it in parallel with direct action, with what I can do with my own voice and my own resources.
Hi, Mr. Cameron. Sorry.
And
That's how you do it. You grab the microphone.
Just a quick two-part question. How's the writing of the Avatar novels coming along? And then
what are you, my agent?
I will be if you want. And then the other part of it is you've said that it could be a few years in the making for the Avatar sequels, which obviously
there shouldn't be any surprise there, given how long the first one took.
Which kind of begs the question of, are you going to work in the film in between? There have been some rumors about a Cleopatra movie. Can you address any of those?
I haven't made any decisions about that. I'm probably not. Here's a decision. I'm not going to work on a film between 2 and 3. It's really just a question of whether I do one between now and when we start 2. And we're still evaluating how much of our tech work, how much of our facility work, how long that's going to take, and so on. And that's not decided. as of right now. I'd love to just start on Avatar 2 right now, but I don't know if that's possible to do or if it makes sense to wait. So with respect to the novel's a big project because, you know, kind of my idea for the novel is not a novelization, which I hate, where you basically just take the script and put it into prose form and, you know, add a few extra adjectives. It's what I really want to do is say, okay, if this movie was based on a book, what would that book have been? And it ends coterminously with the end of the movie. I don't give you one frame beyond that. But how about the 30 years before Jake got to Pandora? Discovery of the planet, Grace's arrival there, you know, all the backstory, the history of Earth, all the context for what happens in the story. And then everything lateral to what you see in the movie. Whether it's things that are happening off camera or things that are happening inside the characters' heads. And it's been a very kind of rewarding journey so far. I still got quite a fair bit of work to do. But what I want to do is create a kind of a Bible or a foundation from which other writers can write novels that coexist in the same Avatar universe, and maybe, you know, graphic novels and comic books and everything can treat that as a source work, so that they're not making up things that are dissonant with what I want to do in the future from this point on.